André, so cool to have you here from Paris. We're going to talk about the theme, how to turn 1 gig into 3 on conferences. I'm ready to take some notes and learn from the best.
I hope so.
So André, to give some context here, what topic do you speak on and why do you think people book you?
Good. So these are two very important questions in business.
Yeah.
Okay. So of course, my first thing is the content. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is how I deliver the content. Okay. So the content for me is always around leadership. Leadership in networking, in LinkedIn, in business strategy. Okay. So this is the content. And it's quite based on my experience of almost now 40 years of work.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Of course, as an international manager in some companies like, for example, L'Oréal and Oracle. Okay. This is my business culture with this kind of company, working for them. Okay. So I've built some kind of interesting content around what leadership should be for people, for teams, and for organizations. Okay. And then, yes. And then why do the people book me? It's also based on the style. Okay. On my style. Of course, nobody can be perfect for all the customers. Okay. There are some customers who don't like my energetic style. Okay. But many like, and I know better the ones who like. So to build on the nature and the message. Yes.
Did you find like a red thread, like who likes your energetic style? And there's a lot of speakers about leadership. Do you think there is like a specific problem you help them solve, or is there like a specific thing that we need to book André?
Yes. So the profile of my customers, it's very difficult to understand it upfront. What is very interesting in my experience is that the people who share easily, okay, it's not obvious to help them to share their objectives. Okay. So those who share their objectives based on my experience, I can help them and build something personalized. So perhaps here my quality is personalization.
Yeah. Okay.
Based on the topics of the customer. It's not something I come and I say every time.
Okay.
No way.
How many gigs do you do a year? Like if you roughly like last few years after COVID, like how much?
Yeah. After COVID, of course, during the COVID, I moved to do some lectures online. So I did per year approximately 15, 20 per year. And after the COVID, it doubled. Okay. Approximately 30 per year.
That's almost once a week.
Exactly. Once every 2 weeks. And you know how much the preparation is key, especially when you want to personalize.
Exactly. And how do you usually open your talk? I usually ask all speakers this, like, what's your opening? So when you go on stage, how do you get the audience?
Okay. So this is during the event. Okay.
Yeah.
During the event, the key point is to create a relationship with the audience. Okay. So what I do is that knowing already some people, the ones who booked me, I do not hesitate to say hello to them. Hello, Mark.
On stage.
Hello, John. I'm happy you are here. I'm happy to be with you all. And then let's go into the content.
Perfect.
I prepared specifically for you.
Perfect. It's very similar to my opening too. I like to, because in the pre-meeting, we're going to get to the before meeting, before the event, but I always ask like what challenges they have. And I go on stage and I'd be like, hey, I talked to Monica. She says you have a bit high turnover exactly here. So today we're going to address that. So it feels like, hey, I know the problems you have and we're going to talk about it today. And the audience usually love it. And then before we dive into it, last question I have is, where do most of your gigs come from right now? Do you have inbound, referral, agencies? What's your sales strategy for 2026? And what do you feel works for you in France? That's interesting one.
Exactly. So very frankly, I do 80% of my lectures speaking opportunities in Paris, okay, in Paris, okay, and 20% out of Paris. And I'm always happy to move, okay, and it may happen to be in Europe and in Africa. Okay,
Africa
I've been
too.
a
How
few
did you get in
times
Africa? How?
with African people willing to have me to help them to improve their skills and to go into what we can do now in France and in Europe all together. So how do I find these opportunities? It's mainly coming from the word of mouth. The
Okay,
people
wow.
who already saw me on stage. For example, I'm very involved in France in the ecosystem of innovation.
Mhm.
Okay. And one time, perhaps you know his name. It's the founder of LinkedIn. What's the
Oh,
name of the
I know who's, I know whom, I know
Red
him.
Red
Yeah.
Hoffman? Red Hoffman. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
Red Hoffman, exactly. So somebody who saw me in an event on innovation, okay, innovation and leadership, okay, this was my talk, asked me to come and discuss on stage with Red Hoffman, who
Cool.
came to this. So you see, from one opportunity to others, it's a must to create a relationship with the people present and then stay. One of my secrets also is to
Yeah.
stay at least 1 hour after to discuss with the people, to go in
Well, we're gonna dive
and
into
to
the, we're gonna
exchange
dive into we're gonna dive into
and
that.
to
So
exchange.
let's well, let's look at so let's look at part one, before the event, during the event, and after. Let's focus today on not internal events where everybody in the audience is managers in that company, but let's look at conference where the audience is a mix of 400 or 500 companies or 200 companies. And it's really cool
Yes.
if we can give some really concrete takeaways for other speakers to be like, oh, why am I not doing that? For example, like just I had a call with Torben in Denmark, a really cool speaker, and he just reminded that every time he goes on a gig, he sends an SMS to the organizer, hey, I'm on my way. And every time people say like, thank you for that, because they just release some stress, one less thing to think about. And I'm like, why am I not sending that SMS? It takes me 2 seconds.
Very clever. Very clever.
So we can find some
Exactly. Very concrete idea. I
very
say
concrete
to the
idea.
people, exactly. I say to the people, whatever number they are, 100, 200, please invite me on LinkedIn. I will accept your invitation.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So then they feel free. Of course, never all the people will do it.
No.
But the ones who do it have a lot of value to us. Okay. Then I can ask to them also some feedbacks.
Mhm.
And based on the feedback they give, then I say to them, if you have ideas of where my talk could be useful, please let me know. Don't let the person, this is a key point also for me. Don't tell the person who decides, let me know so that I can contact the person who decides, not yourself. It's not your job to do mine.
So if we jump back, okay, you're getting booked to a conference before the event even happens, before you're going on stage. Say the weeks or months before, like what's your flow? Like what do you ask the organizer for? And you mentioned to me you always ask to be introduced to the CEO. Like why and what do you say in that conversation?
Exactly. At least to the direct hierarchy. Okay, at least. And then I asked the ones who decided for me, okay, to put me in direct contact with the hierarchy. I very frankly, last month, I do prepare a conference in 2 weeks from now. Okay, in Paris on leadership with a European number of people. Okay, it will be in English. So, and I asked that to the organizer. Okay, please put me in contact with your CEO. And she said to me, don't say that you come from me.
Okay.
Okay.
Why?
It's her choice. We know in networking that we always need to ask the question, could I say that Max told me to contact you?
Always.
Okay, always. It's a must have. And lately she said to me, don't tell him. Tell him that you are coming to to the conference and you'll be a speaker. And he knows that, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And he received me very well. And my key point here is to tell him that I want to optimize my presence during its small preparation to go on stage and to feel the space, the room, the ambience to come in. Okay. So before I take a coffee, but nothing more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during the meeting, what do you typically ask them? So if I'm the CEO of that conference, and the person who booked you introduced you, so okay, you have a 10-minute coffee. Like what does usually happen in that conversation?
So very directly, I said to him or to her, of course, I wish to have a discussion with you afterwards to do debrief what happened.
Okay.
And to understand how much I answered to your expectation and what potentially I can do better next time. Okay. And also to think of other subjects. For example, I told you networking and LinkedIn, on which I'm an expert in both spaces. So I can move in a conference from networking and leadership, and the next one to LinkedIn and leadership. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
of course, I give them a kind of connection, and I do prepare already the subjects I may propose to the people. Okay, so the debrief is very important.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me in our call before this episode that you sometimes ask the CEO for some introductions during the conference. How do you do that without like being pushy? And also, he has maybe not seen you live yet, but how do you start that flow before you even been on stage? But that was really cool, I think. Yeah, already in advance have some plans.
For sure. It's very important to open the mind of the people. Okay. We are there for business. We want to do our best to give the maximum value. Okay. Okay. And then based on that, I prepare the person with the idea of the debrief. Okay. On what else could he propose to me himself or his network of people willing to have all speakers, etc. Exactly.
So you go. So to summarize, you go to the meeting. You say to him, "Hey, I really appreciate that we can have a debrief meeting after the conference is done." And you ask him some questions about tailoring your talk, about the audience, and a bit more about the conference. And just to be clear, do you also then ask him, like, is there someone on the conference I should speak to from some other companies, or like, how detailed do you go into that meeting?
Absolutely. Who are the key people I should meet? Okay.
That was the one I was fishing for.
Exactly. Who are the key people I should meet? Okay. Not directly saying to the person to sell other lectures. Okay. To have other speaking opportunities, but who are the VIPs in a way? Okay. I should meet. So potentially also these people, sometimes on the first and second rows, you have booked seats.
Yeah.
So before I begin, sometimes I go even inside the room and I shake my hand with the people, telling them that I'm happy that they are here, and I would love afterwards to discuss with them about the interest of what I said.
I really love that one. Why am I not doing this? Yeah, that's a great one. Just to build that connection, warm them up. You go on stage, and they're most likely going to add you on LinkedIn and feel like, yeah, amazing. Okay, so then you go on the event. Do you think, we've been on so many conferences, we've seen a lot of speakers perform. Have you ever reflected and seen like, oh, I'm doing something different than the other speakers in terms of especially this to grow your LinkedIn and grow connections? Do you think you're doing something different, or?
That's a good question. In addition to LinkedIn and relationships, I sometimes invite people who are not officially in the audience to give also some additional value. So of course, I ask to the organizer if it's okay. Yeah. Okay. And potentially I do have a big network, especially when it's in Paris. I can bring 1 or 2 friends, okay,
Yeah.
who could participate also in the networking after the conference, so that together, after we are there, we can share some ideas, some contacts, and some kind of follow-up. And it happens that I recommend also to my customer to take another speaker.
Nice one. Nice one.
It's not only me.
And when you're on stage, every speaker has their own way to, let's call it, I don't know, collect leads or connect contacts. And I feel like in my case, I've been before just, hey, add me on LinkedIn and I'm happy to send the presentation. That works sometime. How do you give away an ebook, or how do you get them to add you on LinkedIn? Like, do you have any cool tricks?
Yeah, yes, for LinkedIn, it's very clear. It is the interest of the people to be connected with people like us, not only for us, but for the people, for accessing to the people who are in our network.
Yeah.
So the key point for their career to take it. And of course, it's open. You spoke about an ebook. It's also something I do, not for the events, but for prospecting.
I think, yeah. I just want to share also, like, I talked to Thomas Lone, a very good speaker in Norway. And what he's been doing now, he's kind of switched from LinkedIn to at the end, have Slido, and he gives away something and he collects emails. And what he does, he just takes that email list and he gives them to his agent and be like, hey, all these people liked my talk, sell me to them.
Yeah.
But what do you think is best? Like, do you think it's best to connect on LinkedIn and take that approach, or collect the email, or maybe do both? What do you think is the best thing to do?
Yeah, yes, very frankly, the best first is to have the business card. Then you have email, phone number, the title of the person also, etc. Okay. Second, LinkedIn. Why? Because it's a long-term relationship and a very open one. Very open one. Okay. So then it gives additional ideas. Email is great. For example, I do a newsletter every month. So of course, I have now approximately 40,000 emails.
Wow.
Okay. Based on my experience. Okay. And then they do receive the newsletter, but it's a kind of cold communication. Okay. I believe that to see a post and to have for them the opportunity to react and to be well received when they react, that I myself react to their reaction and respect them and encourage them in what they want to do. So it is a lot of value to them. For those who understand it, it's very crucial.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I definitely see that benefit of the LinkedIn versus the email.
Yes.
So, okay. So, Andre, you go off the stage, and now what? Like, what do you do in the first 24 hours after you left the stage to get more gigs out of this event?
So this is now after, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The first reaction of course, the 24 hours after, to say thank you to those who decided to book me.
Yeah.
So thank you. It was great. I did appreciate what you proposed to me. Okay. It's not an email with the invoice.
Yeah. Yeah.
In general, by the way, I send the invoice before.
Me too, because I have so many jokes, and in case they don't land, I want.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes people react saying, okay, we'll pay afterwards. Or,
Yeah.
for example, SNCF, they paid me 30% first and then 70% after. Okay. And another very big company, I asked to the assistant in charge of that when I arrived at 8 in the morning. I began at 9 in the morning. I said to her, what's going on for my invoice, only for information? And she said to me, it's already 100% paid.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
I said to her, okay, thank you. I go. One other idea, I think of that because I asked to this assistant to do so, to take some pictures with me and the guys who booked me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that in my thank you email just afterwards, as you asked, okay, I put also nice pictures, not only of myself, but all together. I have in mind, so one time 3 people decided,
Yeah.
okay, another time 2, and when there are 3, we have a picture. I'm sure I always take care of that somebody
Okay.
takes us on my mobile, the picture with all the people who booked me.
That's a
And
smart
then,
one. And do you post on LinkedIn too some days later?
yes, with their permission,
Yes.
I ask them, can I do so? And for example, in my thank you email, okay, with the picture who gives some hot connection, okay, we are in the same picture, same situation, same stress.
Yeah.
Then I ask them if they agree that I will post this on LinkedIn. If there is one who says no, I don't do it. I must say that all the people accept it in the business area. Yes.
Okay, so you take a picture of them, you send them an email, thank you so much for booking me, you attach the picture and say this was a great time. And then I know a lot of speakers, they also wait a few days to ask for a testimonial because the organizers are tired and they're doing the post event. How many days after should you wait to ask for a testimonial?
Listen, if I think of what I did, the day after, thank you. Okay. 2 or 3 days after the post on LinkedIn from myself. Of course, if they do a post themselves, I do respect that and I react to their post with a comment with always also one keyword, which is thank you in the comment. 1 day after, email. 2 or 3 days after the post on LinkedIn. And it takes between 1 and 2 weeks with the one-to-one connection with the decision makers or the VIPs or the CEO. Okay. When I meet him at the event. Okay. Then I ask between 1 and 2 weeks, one-to-one, please put a testimonial. It will be useful for me and I will be very, very grateful for that. And if you need something else, ask me also. It's not only something I ask as a gift. I propose also to give gifts.
That's I like that one. I also, when I ask for testimonials, I usually do that a few days later when I also attach them. Like, by the way, here's my slides if you want to use them internally for use. So I try to give something while I ask. And a sentence that works really well is I always write like, hey, after the conference, I talked a bit with the audience. I'm so happy. It was so great feedback because as long as the audience is happy, it's very hard for them to, I never see the bad review, but it's hard for them to write something neutral. If everybody's happy, of course they're going to write, hey, this was a good talk.
Exactly. In the good dynamics. Exactly.
Yeah, in the good dynamics.
Good vibes.
Good dynamic. Good vibes. We forgot to cover one thing, Andre. If we jump back a little bit, you said like you always stay 1 hour after the conference. Is that to talk with the audience and just collect as many LinkedIn's as you can?
Exactly. And to have a coffee with them and to exchange business cards.
Yeah.
Okay. And to have some feedback also. Okay. And the key question I ask is, what will you do with that now? Okay. It's not,
that's a good question.
It's not, was it clever? Okay. Some trainers, I know many trainers who ask to the people, how was it? Was I good? No. What will you do with that now?
I love that. That's a really good one. I'm gonna take that one for sure. If we could just before we wrap up, so say you meet 10 people on the conference, you exchange business cards, you have a good dialogue, they said you were great on stage. How do you do the sell afterwards? Do you write them a LinkedIn message, be like, are you interested in having this talk? Like, how direct are you? Like, and in which channel?
So then it becomes one-to-one. Okay. Connection with the people. It depends. It depends when the people are reacting or not. Okay. When they react, I immediately propose that when they react on writing based on my email or LinkedIn invitation, etc. By the way, I invite the people I know before the speaking event. Okay, before.
Yeah.
So that doing that before gives more value to what you will do afterwards. You see, we will be connected. For those I didn't know before, I will invite them after, of course. Okay, on LinkedIn. Okay, and then one-to-one, when they react saying, yes, I could have an idea, okay, then I take a 30-minute call with them via Zoom, easy, simple, okay. In my agenda, I use a tool which name is Calendly, perhaps you know it, to help for the meetings. And I must say that I do propose in the days between 9 and 11 p.m. So they have time. They have time to decide when they will speak with me.
Yeah, okay, 9 to 11 best ones. Interesting. Well, Andre, thank you so much for like sharing the insights of like how your flow is. I got inspired to do better pre-work and ask for like who should I meet on the conference, and I'm definitely gonna meet in the VIP circle and those in front, like handshake and be like I'm excited. And I really like the question, like, hey, what will you do with this? It's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Exactly.
What will you do with this now?
Don't forget, if there are women you already know, kisses are the best. I love that.
Okay. Friendship.
First of all, I love that with a woman I already know.
Yeah.
And the audience, when they see that kind of connection, they understand that I'm almost a member of them. I'm here to give my best and a member of them. It's not somebody higher somewhere in the clouds. No, in the ground, with the people and for the people. And the last question I have is that, so we asked how you start your talk. How do you finish it? So what's your last slide? What's your last sentence? How do you leave the stage with a powerful adios, like bye-bye? So as you know, Max, based on our experience, our first slide, the first one, stays the most time because during the first slide, we go and prepare. Walk on stage. Okay, exactly. So I come back. My last slide is my first slide, which I put again, and a big thank you on it. Okay, nice. Yeah. Last slide is first slide plus thank you. Yeah. Do you encourage the audience? Like, what's like your last sentence? What's your like? Of course, you say thank you for having me here. You've been great. But like, do you encourage them or do you finish with a thought? How do you end it? Very frankly, I finish with thank you. Yeah. From my point of view, it's enough. It's enough. It's clear, and it values the people. Yeah. Okay. Very simple. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for being here today, Andrea. If we leave this, if we finish this episode with, if you could give one advice to other speakers who's listening right now, what would that advice be? And then we wrap up. Based on my experience again. Okay. Yeah. My base point is to have connections with them on LinkedIn so that, as you know, based on what we see on LinkedIn, we know the people before they speak. Yeah. So then we can follow up in a clever way. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to add to your point, Andre, here, just a thought that's popped up, a little tip for the pre-conference. What I've seen a lot of conferences if I, as a speaker, offer them to, hey, do you want a 30-second video that you can use on social media? Yeah, you should love it because they need content. And I go like, it's always cringe to make them, but I always say like, hey, I'm Max. I'm going to speak at Harstad-konferensen. I'm going to cover the topics. I can't wait to see you. It's going to be fantastic. Let's go. And what happens here is that they are really happy because they have content and they're going to post it on their LinkedIn, Instagram. And that gives actually the audience a chance to connect with me because I always say like, tag me, do this. And in the video, sometimes I encourage them to be like, hey, so let's talk and stuff. So that thing can help people to connect with you before you go on stage, actually. Yeah. Listen, thank you, Max. That's a good idea, which I've not done yet, but I will do it. Thank you, Max. Try it out. Also. for everybody.
They will be happy. Okay, André, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I have a lot of things to implement myself now. I think a lot of people will be inspired.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Nice.
what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max.
Hey, I hope you liked this episode. If you are a speaker and you already have paid gigs, but you want more, bigger stages and more consistency in the amount of bookings, we work one-on-one with speakers to help them get more gigs and increase their sales. Check out Become a Speaker and Know in the link below. If you're just starting out or you have had a few gigs and you want to really become a successful public speaker, check out our 8-week bootcamp. Here, we help speakers create their speaker reel, website, positioning, beautiful presentation with amazing slides, storyline, and also land that first big paid speaking gig. Check out the 8-week program below. And I'm always excited to work with passionate speakers who have a very interesting story and valuable advice to share.